We know from the mark scheme and from the examiner's report that a good essay has to do three things. You have to follow the passage, dealing with the beginning, middle and end. You also have to comment on a range of language and structure devices. And you have to engage with the meanings and messages of the extract and why the author wrote it. There are a few different ways to write essays, but you have to be careful not to do one of these things well at the expense of the other two. What you want is an approach that balances the three and is a compromise. For example, let's say that you want to deal in great detail with the meanings and messages and also with the language and structure devices. Well, that might come at the cost of not getting to the end of the extract. You could also want to deal with all the meanings and messages and make sure you get right to the end of the extract, but then you might end up lacking detail. Or perhaps you want to deal with every single language and structure device in the entire passage and make sure you get right to the end, but then you're going to lack depth. The approach I recommend is the 3x3x3 method. You split the extract into three sections, choose your top three quotations from each, and try to make 3 points about each of them. This is a nice balance between the three things we have to do. So it means that you are following the entire passage. You also have got some language and structure devices to comment on, but because we're really trying to say multiple points about each one, you're able to engage fully with the meanings and messages. On this page are the top 10 tips that I have selected after reading through all the examiner reports from CIE. If we read through them, we can see that the 3x3x3 approach helps us to balance these objectives. We're going to be dealing with the structure and development of the passage, and we're not going to be using a checklist of technical terms to guide our reading. Instead, we're following beginning, middle and end, looking how the passage develops. Because we're going to be taking in the entire passage with this approach, it's going to give us a good shot at getting a decent overview of the meaning. And during the planning stages, we'll be paying careful attention to the end of the extract. So this means we'll be able to select a quotation from later in it to use to support our overall meaning. It's going to be easy to maintain a strong focus on the STEM question in bold because we're going to have three main paragraphs, beginning, middle and end of extract, that we can tie back to the question. We're not going to be selecting so many quotations that we can't take the time to comment on how each of them reflects the meaning of the text as a whole, and also how it gives an insight into what the writer's motives for writing a text were. We're definitely going to be getting to the end of the passage because we're only doing 3 quotations from each section. There's going to be plenty of opportunity to comment on individual rhyme, stresses or sentence forms and comment on particular effects because we're really prioritising which ones are important. The same goes for the syntax of sentences. If we're making 3 points about each quotation, we're going to be considering alternative meaning. One of those points for prose analysis could be thinking about point of view. The same goes for the speaker's tone or attitude in poetry. And we're going to have left ourselves plenty of time at the end to conclude with an individual evaluation of how the text achieved its impact. So don't get distracted by flashy essay plans that are often more trouble than they're worth. Split it into 3 sections, beginning, middle, end. Choose your top 3 quotations from each and go up to about 3 words maximum. Sometimes just 1 word quotations can be the most effective. Try to give 3 points about each, what it means or denotes, what it might imply or connote, and try to compare and contrast it to another quotation as well. That way you're exploring links. 3x3x3. What the skeleton for this type of essay looks like would be then a very brief intro, perhaps just 50 words, or using 1 quotation from the end and just outlining where you're going to go for the beginning, middle and end topics of the extract. You'll then have about 200 words, or roughly half a page, on the beginning, middle and end of the extract. So we've split it into 3 sections. You've got your top 3 quotations that are most relevant to the question for each section, and then you're going to try and make 3 points about each one. Then you'll conclude very briefly, as you started, with about 50 words, or making sure that you choose 1 quotation, probably from towards the end, that best sums up the mood, atmosphere, or attitude of the extract, aiming at giving 3 reasons for your choice. This means that you'll probably have slightly more than the 6 to 7 recommended quotations that you need to get into the top band on the mark scheme, but I find that going just slightly over that means that people can explore comparisons and contrast in a bit more depth and subtlety. You'll also notice that 50 plus 3 times 200 plus 50 gets you to 700 words, which is what research shows is the point at which the relationship between number of words written and mark awarded begins to flatten off. In other words, writing 700 words is going to get you all the marks you are likely to get. There are cases of people writing in excess of 1,200 words but still not getting above a grade 5. So it really is about quality rather than quantity.